Online multiplayers are all the rage these days, and developers seem to want to integrate them into their games even if the fans don't want them to. Sometimes it works, and sometimes they just sit there on your menu screen looking desperate and lonely, and even weirder every time you put your game in. Kinda like the Wii. But that's not the case with our next title, and that's Battlefield 3. The strongest competitor against the Call of Duty series is here, and look out! Running on the new Frostbite 2 engine, Battlefield 3 is bigger than ever with a more refined campaign and a massive online multiplayer. EA and DICE have thrown everything they could into this first-person shooter, and the buzz has been overwhelming. So, is Battlefield 3 everything we expected, or just another dud shooter? We find out. Battlefield 3's campaign mode is the series' best yet, but that's really not saying much. The story is handled well, but it is a bit cliche and very reminiscent of other films and games. Brush that aside though, and there's still a lot of fun to be had. The single player might be just one of the most realistic war shooters I've played in recent times. It's at a much slower pace, but that's what makes it more intense and more absorbing. Missions are slightly over the top, but very immersive and believable, with huge levels and a variety of objectives to complete. There's a lot of soldier bravado and a lot of F-bombs being dropped, but it all seems to fit in nicely with the mood of the game. Whilst not perfect, Battlefield 3's campaign is still incredibly enjoyable. But the real star of the show is the multiplayer, and boy is it fun! Each map is huge and there's so many things to do, from weapon customizations to vehicle loadouts. This game's multiplayer is quite possibly the best online team experience I've ever had. War might be both ugly and immoral, but damn does it look good! The new Frostbite 2 engine handles dozens of different elements beautifully. Possibly the standout graphical features are the lighting and smoke elements, which makes everything look that little bit more realistic. Whether it's an explosion in an underground car park, or the dust hitting your face as you run into battle, Battlefield 3 really makes you feel like you're in a war zone. Character models are excellent, and you'll notice a great amount of detail throughout the game, like wear and tear on weapons and vehicles, and perfect lip syncing. What really blew me away, however, was the sound design. This has to be the best sounding game I've ever played. Every wisp of a bullet or rustle of footstep sounds, it all sounds genuine, and gunshots have a real kick to them. The theme music and voice acting is pretty good, but the depth and amount of effect noises really put you in the shoes of being a soldier. Fantastic stuff.
Here we go.
The feel of your character is quite different from most other shooters going around these days. It's more realistic and a little harder to shoot, so don't expect an easy game. With the campaign, you'll be constantly sent into dangerous areas to suppress terrorist forces, but the gameplay always seems to take very unexpected twists, like hunting down an enemy sniper or sneaking behind enemy lines. It's wonderfully mixed up, and with many different characters and vehicles to experience, it's quite fun. The campaign, though, does still have some problems. You'll have many cheap deaths with enemy AIs just shooting you from wherever with pinpoint accuracy, no matter how far away or how hidden you are. And the melee combat system is no more than just press X here and there and doesn't feel gripping at all. These and a couple of other nags don't really spoil the campaign from being an intense, realistic experience though. The multiplayer, on the other hand, is amazing. When you're dashing around an open war zone and you see your friends in tanks and helicopters blasting buildings and enemies apart, it really is quite a spectacle. Filled with different team-based objectives like bomb the base and capture the flag, there is no limit to how you approach each game. Go in stealthy and win objectives, or blast everything to hell, it's your choice. There's plenty of attachments and customizations to unlock, and it's guaranteed to give you hours of play. In fact, my only criticism is that each game runs for too long. Other than that, this is brilliant stuff. This is such a step up from Battlefield 2 in my opinion. The campaign is gritty and immersive, and the multiplayer is like nothing you've ever seen. Sure, the campaign isn't the most original thing you've ever experienced, and the multiplayer games go for a little bit too longer than I want, but that's kind of the nature of the beast. Anyway, I enjoyed this immensely, and I'm going to give it a 9.48 out of 10.01.